Lesson 29. Review Lessons 10 to 18.
Hello everyone. Today we are going to review chapters 10 through 18. Before we start, let's learn some new vocabulary words. Take a look at your screen. A casserole. A casserole is a deep dish used for cooking food in the oven. Next, a platter. A platter is a large dish used for serving meat. Next, a wok. A wok is a wide pan used for Chinese cooking. Okay, we're also going to talk about modals today. A modal is a helping verb that you use with another simple verb form to describe things such as ability, possibility, suggestion, or necessity. Okay, so we already reviewed the modals can, should, may, and might. Let's look at some examples of these modals. Michael can cook spaghetti. Barb should make lunch soon. We may use the wok tonight. Kyle might come for dinner. Now, in the first sentence, can is used to express ability. In the second sentence, should is used to express a good idea. In the third sentence, may is used to express possibility. And in the fourth sentence, might is used to express possibility. Now, should means it's a good idea to do something. However, must or have to means it's very important or necessary to do something. Okay, let's look at some more examples. Alan should cook the meat tonight. Alan must cook the meat tonight. In the first sentence, it is important that Alan cook the meat tonight. If he doesn't, he may have time to cook it tomorrow. But in the second sentence, it is very important that Alan cook the meat tonight. Maybe he will have no time tomorrow. Okay, now we're ready to practice these modals. Linda, are you cooking dinner tonight?
Yes, I must cook dinner tonight. My parents are going to a party. My sister can't cook. She's young.
Okay, thank you, Linda. Sylvia, do you have to eat at home tonight?
No, I don't have to eat at home. My friend and I are going to a restaurant.
Good. Alberto, do you have to make a casserole for dinner tonight?
Yes, I must make a casserole. I am not a good cook, but casseroles are easy. Everyone likes casseroles.
Yes, true. Okay, thank you, everyone. Now, we can use must not or mustn't for negative sentences. Okay, for example, she mustn't serve dinner now. Or, the waiter mustn't be so rude. Okay, now has or have to can also be used in the past form. For example, she had to leave early for the restaurant. I had to make a casserole for dinner. So now we should look and listen.
Look and listen.
Yuri must use that platter. The cook mustn't come to work late. Theo has to clean the dishes more slowly. The waiters had to clean the kitchen.
Read and repeat.
Now let's review comparatives. So remember, when we're comparing two things, we use comparatives. For example, she is shorter than Kevin. Tom is funnier than Clark. Matt is better at pool than Larry. Terry is more handsome than Marty. So a comparative is a sentence that shows the relationship between two things, two or more things. There are many rules when making a sentence in the comparative form. And than is used between the objects. Okay, remember for one syllable adjectives, we add ER to the end. For example, Walt is smarter than Joe. Now for some one-syllable adjectives, when it's a very short word that ends in a vowel and a consonant, the final consonant is doubled. For example, I am fatter than my wife. So we use two T's. But for two or more syllable words, adjectives, we add the word more. For example, English is more difficult than French. Now remember, for adjectives ending in Y, in the comparative form, the Y is changed to an I before we add ER. So it becomes IER. For example, Janet is prettier than Gladys. Now there are some irregular comparative forms. For example, the comparative of good is better. For example, Hal is better at chess than Julia. Okay, another irregular adjective, bad, in the comparative form is changed to worse. Okay, example, Julia is worse at chess than Hal. Now remember, the opposite of more is less. So we can also use less in comparatives. For example, Fritz is more tired than Steve. Means the same as Steve is less tired than Fritz. Let's do another review. This time we will review comparatives. Sylvia, who is smarter, you or your brother?
My brother is smarter than me. He is older. He has studied more.
Okay, thank you. Alberto, are tulips prettier than roses?
I love tulips. I think tulips are prettier than the roses.
Okay. Linda, which is more interesting, art or English?
English is more interesting than art. Art is less interesting than English.
Good job, everyone. Now, this is a better time to look and listen.
Look and listen.
I am sadder than my mother. A cheetah is faster than a turtle. Jacob is less boring than his brother. This room is quieter than that room.
Read and repeat.
Now let's review superlatives. A superlative is the absolute of something. It's saying something is the most in a group. Let's look at some examples. Mount Blanc isn't the tallest mountain in the world. American women are the most beautiful women in the world. Mount McKinley is the highest mountain in the U.S. French roses are the prettiest roses in Europe. So superlative is an adjective which expresses the highest degree. Okay. So it expresses the highest degree of a certain quality. As with comparatives, there are many rules with superlatives. So for one syllable adjectives, we add est. For example, the Nile is the longest river in the world. Now, of course, for some one-syllable adjectives, the consonant is doubled, like in the comparatives. So when the word ends in a vowel and a consonant, you double the consonant. For example, Russia is the biggest country in the world. Okay, for two-syllable words, we add the most in the superlative. For two or more syllable words. For example, the pyramids are the most important landmarks in Egypt. And of course, for adjectives ending in Y, in the superlative form, the Y becomes I, and then you add est. For example, the Swiss are the friendliest people in the world. And of course, like comparatives, there are some irregular superlatives. For example, good in the superlative form becomes the best. For example, Italian food is the best food in the world. I'm sure Alberto would agree with that. And then bad in the superlative becomes the worst. For example, American beer is the worst beer in North America. Okay, now the opposite of the most is the least. Also a superlative. So we can say, for example, souvenirs at JFK Airport are the least expensive in the U.S. Now we're ready to practice superlatives. Alberto, you can go first. What is the largest country in Africa?
I don't know. Is it Egypt?
Do you know, Sylvia?
Yes, I do. The Sudan is the largest country in Africa.
Very good. Linda, what is the most difficult language to learn in Europe?
I think German is the most difficult. Spanish is the least difficult.
Okay, good. Alberto, I will give you another one. Who is the